What if women had been included in equal numbers in this industry from the start? What if women built the internet with men? How might it be different? I asked the co-founder of Twitter, Evan Williams, if he thought that having women on the early team would have mattered. And he said, yeah, I think if we had women on the team early on, maybe online harassment and trolling wouldn't be such a problem. We weren't thinking about this. They were thinking about wonderful and amazing and cheerful things that could be done with Twitter. They weren't thinking about how it could be used to send death threats. Women have been left out of the largest wealth creation in the history of the world. I've been covering Silicon Valley for 8 years, and off camera, everybody would sort of whisper about the gender inequality, but when you got them in the chair, nobody said what they really had to say. And it always just baffled me how this incredibly progressive industry could have such stark inequality. Women make up 25% of computing jobs, 7% of investors. Women-led companies get 2% of venture capital funding. 2%. I really wanted to figure out how and why we got here. And, there were some really surprising things that I found. First of all, that women were critical parts of the computer industry early on. They were building computers for the military and NASA. And what happened is they got pushed out. First of all, the jobs became higher status and higher paying, and men wanted them. And there were also these personality tests that were widely used because the industry was so desperate for talent. They were trying to figure out, okay, how can we identify good people right away? And these two psychologists, William Cannon and Dallas Perry, were hired by a software company, and they decided that good programmers don't like people. And if you look for people who are antisocial or don't like people, first, you'll hire far more men than women. That's what the research tells us. The research also tells us there's absolutely no evidence to show that antisocial, mostly white male nerds are better at this job than everybody else. But those tests were widely used over decades, and it perpetuated this idea of the antisocial white male nerd stereotype that persists to this day. I think change needs to come from the top. So first of all, CEOs need to lead on this issue and make hiring and promoting women a priority and communicate that throughout the levels of the organization. And I think the reason that this isn't happening is companies, they may say they care about it or think they care about it, but it's not a priority. Growing is a priority. Filling the seats is a priority. Getting the product launch out is a priority. And I do think that building a strong work culture that includes people of all backgrounds actually takes time and patience. And so it may take 3 weeks to find the perfect white guy, generally, for the job. It may take 3 months to hire a woman, but in my view, that time is worth it because the longer you go without having a diverse team, the harder it is to change. You just can't catch up. We can't have men building these products solely on their own, making these decisions on their own. Silicon Valley is changing the way that we live, the way that we communicate, the way that we get around, the way we shop, the social media that we're all using, including our children. This isn't just tech's problem or a recruiting problem or a problem for people who want jobs in this field. This is everybody's problem.